Holy smoke, yeah, let me put my cigarette. Holy Ghost.
Welcome to another episode of the End of Days podcast. My name is PJ, and I am very happy to be here today with the Te Jani.
Te Jani.
How you doing today, man?
I'm good, Paulo.
Thanks for coming, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, man.
So they just perform and they fucking rock. The other guys are on the other side. Thanks for staying, guys. Te Jani, thank you for coming. We've been planning this for a couple of weeks. It's hard to get a hold of you, but hey, no, I'm not throwing you out there. Thank you for coming. You guys performed 3 songs, and I always start for everybody asking the same question: how did you became, your artistic name? How did it became Te Jani? Is that your real name? So you just use your single name for it and everything?
My uncle, I'm named after my uncle, and his middle name is Te Jani, and my name is Te Jani. So, yeah, just I remember when I first started coming up with names, like back in like high school. The first one I came up was Black Efron because I ran track and also did like musicals and stuff. So I was like, that's kind of lame. I'm not doing that.
I saw some of those videos on your YouTube. You got your YouTube channel.
From high school?
Not from high school, but you have I think it's a 5-year-old song.
Yeah,
in there.
there's some old stuff on there. I need to clear that out.
How old are you? Sorry if you don't mind asking.
That is classified information. No. I just turned. How old am I? I just turned 28.
28?
Yeah.
Oh,
Am I 28?
you're a baby.
97. 97. 3. I can't do math. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
28. We'll leave it at 28. Nobody
Yeah.
needs to know it's different. How do you got into music? This is something from your family since you just were little? How do you got, dragged into this world of producing and making music?
Yeah. So, there's actually a picture of it on my Instagram where, the first time I recorded something, my dad, I can't remember, it was like my dad or my mom, they showed me how to record the radio to tape. And like, I just specifically remember like hitting record, hitting stop, hitting rewind, and hitting play. And then like hearing the radio back in real time, I was like, I just like rewound time. Like, how does this work? And like, that was my first, I think that was my first like fascination with like microphones and recording and like music technology stuff. And I Guitar Hero 3 came out when I was like in 5th grade, and my best friend Sydney McCall, shout out Sydney. We played it like all night, and that's not like I grew up very Christian, so like not a lot of music was allowed to be played, so a lot of alternative music was being played in the house and stuff like that, like Switchfoot and Reliant K and Audio Adrenaline and Beast Boys.
I grew up listening to Switchfoot too. I haven't even heard this band called Pillar. It's like a Christian band.
Yep.
Skillet. Everybody heard Skillet.
Oh, dude, it's embarrassing, but dude, I wore out their Collide album and Comatose album. So yeah,
Comatose was a great recording. Yeah, I loved it.
That honestly influenced how I play guitar still today.
You know what's crazy? So. I saw them live when they first opened the Time Warner Arena. It used to be, I think it was, I don't remember the name. It was Time Warner Arena. Now it's the Spectrum Arena. When it was with the Hornets, they came and on a hockey game they drag him out in like a flatbed, and perform.
Crazy.
And so at that moment, I was, in a church group, in a youth group, and I mean, I'm 41 years old, bro. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's been a while.
Oh yeah.
So they came out play, and great performance too. So so a lot of your influence came from Christian background music as well.
Yeah. So Guitar Hero 3 came out, and I remember this moment. Like, there's a song on there called "Helicopter" by Block Party. And I was like going on, I thought YouTube had just dropped. It was like 2007 or something like that. Yeah. YouTube had just like came out, and people at that time would make their own music videos and stuff. Right.
Right.
And I remember looking up Block Party Helicopter, and I'm looking at like this grainy black and white video, and I'm like, what is this? And it was a black dude playing guitar. And like, it just didn't occur to me that a black dude would play like alternative music like that. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
What year was that?
I was 10, so 2007. And like, it didn't click until like a year and a half, 2 years later. I'm like, oh, that's Kelly Okereke of Block Party. And I was like, this is crazy. And then I like through that, I found like Living Color, and just other just black rock stars, which I thought was really cool. One
of my favorite singers is a singer from I think it's a band from Atlanta. think it's called Seven Dust. You ever heard of him?
I've heard the name, I believe.
It's a
They
black
play like
singer.
heavy music,
yeah,
right?
a great singer, and it's a what's it, African American, black, covered, Mexican, tomato, potato, whatever. He is a brother, and the singer is a brother, and the brother is the guitar player. So it's a
Okay.
great band.
Cool.
And they're like heavy rock.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So yeah, you grew up listening to some of the music I kind of listened to as well.
Yeah,
I remember when I heard Deftones. You ever heard Deftones before?
I have. I'm not like super familiar with it, but yeah, they're super cool.
So,
Their
so
guitars are
yeah,
really
so
sick.
it was exciting to say, oh man, the singer is Mexican American.
Okay.
So it's like start seeing driving away from the regular, white guy singing rock
Yeah,
or metal
yeah.
to different,
And
personalities.
Latin countries love punk music.
They love- they do.
I only recently learned that, which is crazy. But yeah,
I mean, they're heavy into heavy metal and dark
Yeah.
metal as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of these people would like literally paint their face, and
Do you know Gene Dawson?
I do not.
They're also Mexican American from Southern California.
Oh, I'm gonna check it out.
Or Southeast. Yeah. Yeah, he's super fire. Yeah, so good. Like favorite producer of all time, honestly.
Awesome.
And artist. Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
that's how you became this musician into this world, listening to all that. Those influences had to do a lot with who you play, what you play now, or
Yeah, I mean, a lot. Like it was just limitations. I wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of music, and like I think growing up Christian, like you're sort of forced to be a little skeptical of everything, and you read into everything, and I think that just forced me to like pay attention to lyrics and like pay attention to themes and like what's actually being said, and like I think that really influenced how I write today, for sure. Yeah, same thing. Like and just what I consume in general, whether it's like movies or like TV or like music, whatever.
so. What you write now is still being influenced a lot by the lyric, by the background or the Christian background growing up, or you completely change how you do music now.
I've said this before, but like I think it's funny. I think with a lot of music, a lot of times I'm not really like making. Like I don't open up Ableton and record with a goal in mind. I'm sort of just like usually I'm just like, oh, how does this work? How do I make this synth sound? Or like, how do I make this guitar sound this way? Or how do I make this drum sound this way? It's more like a technical approach of like, all right, do I use two mics? Do I use what certain mic do I use? What sensitivity do I use? What, I'm not really thinking about like, I guess the art of it. I guess it's more just like how do I reverse engineer this sound? It's really a nerdy approach. But,
Right. I mean,
right now though, a lot of the music I've been writing recently has been a lot of just like guitar, like dancier music, a lot like Block Party. Or
I love the
yeah.
so speaking of which, you performed 3 songs. Which can you tell us which ones you did today? I know which one they are, but let them know.
So the first one is called Medicine. I wrote that song. I went to a party after a show. No, yeah, I went to a party like at a dorm after a show, and this was like right after college, and was just going back to college, and like with the perspective of like being graduated and like being there, I'm like, oh, this is. I felt like I knew so much, and like, yeah, I don't know. It's. Yeah, it was a weird time in my life. I was just going to a lot of parties and just hanging out. Because I didn't do a lot of that in college. I ran track in college, so I was like in bed by like 9, 10.
Right,
And
so you
just,
had
like
to-
any free time I had, I was just like making music, and I wasn't drinking, wasn't doing anything. So
So
but yeah,
you
the
got it
second
out of your
song-
system afterwards.
Oh, I still love to party. I mean, the next project is called Life at the Party, So, but no, I like to hang out with like my close homies for sure. To like, but what was the second song we did? I Hate New York.
I hate New York. Yes.
I Hate New York.
Welcome to the club. Yeah, that's actually the song that I was listening to the most.
Yeah.
How do you come up with that one? You're I know from New York because I asked you this earlier.
Yeah.
So how can what is the meaning behind this?
Yeah, actually think New York is actually super sick. It's one of my favorite cities. But I was in a relationship at the time, and we just had
so
like
it has to do with the female. Okay.
yeah. I'm not, I won't get into the details of it, but like, yeah, you know.
So it's like a broken heart song.
Oh, for sure. All my best songs are just.
But you see, you
my
very
heart's getting ripped out.
you out there fully honest about it. You know, like I don't like when people be like write a song and it's not fully honest about what it is. You know, they try to hide it between the lines.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep it vague just to protect all parties. You know, I've written songs that are
You
very.
should just put
very...
her name right on the fucking song.
Oh my god, Sarah, if you hear this,
Oh my god, no.
I'm kidding. No, that's not her name. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you. It was
All right, Sarah, you make him write a good song. Thanks for that.
No, her name's not Sarah. But anyways, yeah, it's well, I forgot what we were talking about, but
No, we're talking about how you came with this song, just out of the experience of the relationship.
Yeah. The first verse was just like a letter that I wrote that I never sent, and that's how it started. I was like sitting in my driveway, with my homie Jody, and yeah, I was like, I basically asked myself, what would I say, if I wanted this person back, you know? And so, yeah, that's basically what it was about.
So it's a love song / broken heart.
It's
you know,
it's the nuance.
angry.
It's the nuance between being in a relationship right after you break, or not being in a relationship right after, you know, and the feelings you have between that you. I often
relationships are complicated.
I just found out. I actually just found out. I've never been like a. What do you call astrology person or whatever?
Oh, okay.
But, I just found out I'm a what is it, moon rising Scorpio or whatever, and yeah, a lot of that stuff like makes
so you know
a little bit
you're
of
into the
sense,
zodiac things now.
Not really. I'm such a literal person. Like I don't know. I don't know.
But you had to have some of that in order to make music. You know, like you need to take some of everything. You know, like I know that. Probably you as a Christian would say, "Oh, I cannot believe in the zodiac signs because Jesus."
Oh, I wouldn't say I'm Christian now.
Oh, okay. Well,
for sure. No.
Because you know, I personally, like you, I was at some point into until I started reading and asking questions myself, and I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't really.
I think with making music, I think what it is with each project. Jerry Seinfeld said this. You know, being a stand-up, and it applies to music, and probably I think all of life. It's like you explore this thing, right? Maybe you set out with a goal and you're trying to do this thing, but you know, really it's just exploring yourself and ideas and wants and desires. But then as you continue to grow, and as you continue to make decisions, you're more like taking away things. You're carving out who you want to be and what you want to do. It's not like adding to yourself. It's like, I mean, you can hear it in like almost everyone's music. You hear their earlier projects and they're like, oh, I see what they were doing, and you can hear the influences, but then you listen, you know, 2-3 projects down the line and it's like, oh, this is like
what
the
they were
idea they
aiming
had,
for.
but
Yeah.
this is really, they took away all the things that weren't.
So what you're trying to say
serving
is
that
there
idea.
is a process in between point A until you get to like, you know, a certain level on your career, and then you start making probably projecting more what you want to show or express as far as music.
I think you just get better expressing yourself, and like, you know, again, I think it all ties. I think in parallels a lot, and I think a lot of it applies to life. It's like, you know, when you're hanging out with people or meeting people, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, oh, you might just be like super silly and just like really dumb or just like do dumb stuff. But then you're like, eventually, you know, maybe years down the road, a decade later, you're like, oh yeah, that was just me just like trying to hide the awkwardness or whatever. But now it's like, oh, I can just say what I want to say, and this is how I want to say it, right?
Yeah,
and you just get better and better and better at that
as you grow up. Yeah, I mean,
sure.
tell me, I'm 41. I probably and I feel like I'm not super old, but I feel like I'm more up like saying like, hey, shut the fuck up. That's not. I want to say this, and you know, like you become more, comfortable expressing and telling people what you want to say. Yeah,
I was talking to like a mentor buddy of mine, and he was just like, yeah, a lot of life is just like learning what not to do for a very long time, and then you're like, then you come to a situation that is a little familiar, and you're like, okay, now I know what to do, you know. Yeah, which is unfortunate because I make a lot of mistakes.
Welcome to the club, my friend.
Yeah.
You're still gonna make a lot.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
it's gonna happen. But like, I think that you're taking that pretty all the situations in your life to come up with some really good songs. I mean, we're just listening to Dark Light right now, which was the third song. It's a song to party, to fucking jump and go around. And I remember when we first talked, I look at your Instagram and that was what was coming up. And I remember the video you got where you playing 3 instruments together.
Yeah.
That's a very creative video. Though.
Thank you. That was very, very intentional. One, just like I think with like social media and stuff, you got to stand out somehow, and I wanna flex that. I'm very proud that I sat myself down and taught myself how to play drums, taught myself how to play guitar, taught myself how to engineer, taught myself how to songwrite, and put it all together. And I think I should show that to people. It's same thing with like Kelly Okereke. Like, had I not made that music video and I was looking at it when I'm 10 years old, I may have never picked up a guitar. You know what I mean? Or it maybe I would have been introduced later on in life. But I think it's very important to show that. And then the second part of it is like I hate making content, and like it's so hard to just like make it fun, especially for someone that's on my level who sort of does most things by themselves. I just wanted to make it fun. When I was a kid, I loved watching like those looper videos of people like playing guitar, like FKJ just like looping up stuff and like things like that. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, and like that fascinates me. So I try to put myself in my 12-year-old brain of like, oh, this is exciting, and like this would give me something to look forward to, or like
and it came out just intended the way it is. It's like it got me hooked. I was like, oh shit, this is pretty fun. And like I'm guessing you had to like record every part over and over until you like put it together. And, well, that's pretty cool. Like seeing an artist, or like you said it yourself, you're pretty honest about it. Like I do a lot of shit myself, which is time consuming and sometimes tiring, and sometimes you feel like giving up. I mean, the podcast I do it myself, so like so the process is hard. Yeah, it is tough to do a lot of shit. The people, like you said, you gotta make the right content so people see it and like it. I mean, personally, I do these things because I really love them. I don't want to be famous or rich or any of that because I do.
That makes one of us. I would love to be rich.
I am a realist. I love to. Anybody would love to be rich, but like I do this because I truly love this shit. Just like you love music. Yeah, fuck yeah. If I make millions in the process, fuck. I mean, who wouldn't? Yeah, you're right. I want to be. I take that back. I'm sorry. I want to be a rich motherfucker.
There we go. You got. You got to be authentic with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. I would love to be rich. I am not afraid to say that on camera.
I would be an arrogant bastard. Just so you know. But. Yeah, it is time consuming, and putting the effort to making that video to come up the way you did it. I mean, shit, give yourself props, and
thank you.
At the end of the day, it is you make the music for yourself, and then for others to like. I keep telling people this. I read an article that when you make music or when you do things with create things, somehow these scientists. Realize that your consciousness is connecting to something greater than yourself. Because you would not be able to create this shit, put all these arrangements together, and come up with all these things if it was just yourself. Yeah, you had to somehow you tap into this theater that you just get all this energy and ideas. And I think the musicians as well as painters and poets and all these people tap into that, and it's something that not everybody can do. Yeah, not everybody does have the gift to come and see that perform, talk a little bit. You're a performer. I mean, shit, I can see that. So
thank you.
You have some shows coming up, right?
Yes, we are playing Amos South End March 14th. It's gonna be sick. We're opening up for Jed Harrelson. This is the biggest stage we've played, and I'm really excited to have the band out.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's 14, the Friday the 14th, right?
Yes, it's a Friday night. Show is doors are at 7. Show is at 8 p.m. We're playing a lot of new songs. And
don't be late.
Yeah,
buy
don't
your
be late.
ticket.
Get a ticket, dude. It's gonna be
gonna
be so fun.
I'll be there
because
I'm getting on the list to get in for free.
And tickets have
put
already
it in the fucking spot.
Yeah. And tickets have already been moving, which is so sick. Like you do music for so long, and you get used to people not giving a single crap.
I saw so many good bands
so-
play there, so it's gonna be excited. That's
I'm excited.
Actually,
man.
I saw Pillar in that stage,
Wow.
so yes, it's gonna be excited to see you
Yeah.
play. I'm sure I'm gonna come out.
Hell yeah! Thank you so much. man.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
like all the bands that come. You know, I try to come out to their shows. Not
Yeah.
every time I can. I'm a father of a 6-year-old
Mhm.
and a husband of a very demanding woman, but you know, here it is. Here we are.
We love her though.
Oh yeah, we love her. She just came in. You saw her when she busted into the door.
That's right.
She was
If
like,
you watch the Dark Slide clip, if you watch the Dark Slide video,
I was
you'll see
like-
me like glance over during
Yeah.
the second verse or something, maybe.
so yeah, it was.
Oh, my
she was like,
gosh.
"Oh, it's not her daughter." I was like, "No,
That's
it's
chaotic.
not her." Yeah, but it was fun. All of the other music that you have, I see that some of them you have some rapping or kind of like it's not rapping, but
Yeah.
hip hop or what would you rate that? Because what you played today was kind of like punk, a little more punk.
Yeah.
But
Again,
before, what was that kind of like?
yeah. Again, like I think it goes back to what I was saying to taking away things, not adding to things. When I started producing, I actually started making like EDM stuff. That was the thing that really introduced me to recording and like making beats and stuff like that. Skrillex, E. Collie, Mr. Carmack, Great Dane, Dot. Like
So you started kind of
so-
like as a DJ with the DJ.
yeah,
board
yeah.
and
I
all
was that world I'd never experienced at all on any level. And so yeah, when I was 19, when I first got Ableton, that's what I was super into. And then at that time, Juice World started to pop off and offshoots of that, and it was literally like all the melodies were just pop punk, but it was over like rap beats and like southern rap music. It was basically like melodic southern rap music, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And like, but I always knew I wanted to be closer to a band, and I just honestly, again, like, I didn't know how to record drums. I didn't know what mics to use. I couldn't even play drums. Like, I was just like figuring out how does a microphone work, how does a compressor work, how does a limiter work. Like, I was in that world so much, and GIMP was songs like Loser. That song, it's so fun to play with the band, but I didn't have the skills to express that. So as I've been evolving on Prozac, I moved back home for a little bit, lived with my parents for about a year-ish.
Where are
somewhere
you
there.
originally from?
I'm kind of from everywhere, but based in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was
Okay.
born in
So
Fresno.
born and raised?
Born in Fresno, California.
Okay.
Lived outside of Chicago, lived outside of Atlanta, lived outside of Richmond, lived outside of Charlotte.
So where is home with your parents?
That was in South Carolina, Lancaster.
Okay.
Lancaster.
Lancaster, boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
work
what
in
they say.
Lancaster. It's pretty cool.
So yeah, moving back home, all I had was my guitar, and I didn't have any of my recording equipment at all. So I was just sitting there with my guitar in my yard or in my room, just like, all right, I was like, let me just focus on melodies, chords, and lyrics, and like arrangement, because like that's all you can really do when you have just your voice and your instrument. So
Right.
that's where on Prozac came through, and I think that during that time my songwriting got a lot better, and then I was performing a lot at that time, and that reminded me like GIMP. If you listen to GIMP, if you listen to all those songs, it feels like I was sitting in my room. That album feels good, like sitting in your car alone, or like sitting in your room alone, or like playing video games, or doing anything alone, because that's what I was doing when I was making. I was completely alone, basically. When I started
old were
performing
you when you
more,
went with that?
excuse me,
How old were you when
I
you?
was like 25, 24, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But I started performing more, and that made me quickly realize, oh, like these songs don't hit live as much.
Right.
And so that changed my songwriting. And so
So you started evolving for the live performance.
Exactly. Because I think I say this to my bandmates all the time. Like, I think you should be able to just walk into a room, not know who the band is. Doesn't matter the genre. You should just be able to walk in and immediately be able to vibe with it.
Right.
And so I take that into my recordings now. Yeah. So
And I can feel it though. Like I was saying, I can feel the performance. I was shaking my camera too, because it is. You're like, oh shit, that hook
Yeah.
right there is pretty good. And
yeah.
most musicians, like you said, they make music. Like some musicians make fucking insane music. Like their arrangements are like the drumming and everything. You're like, fuck,
Yeah.
this is just too sick. But you see those bands perform live, and literally it's like a static. It just doesn't move. It's just, and you're like, it's great music, but you need to be able to vibe. And then you hear a band that plays three chords, but they have a fucking song that makes you just wanna just go crazy, and
Yeah.
it's something that matters when it comes to writing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of masters at producing are able to make simple things sound really good, or just like, yeah, you just learn not to overcomplicate things and like have an idea and like reintroduce that idea. And I that's kind of how a lot of my songs are like arranged. I try to I try to break away from it, and explore from it.
How do you
Explore
start the
that word.
process? Do you get like a core idea, then like maybe like a lyric verse, and you go from it? You started on a guitar, just how you start?
I typically start on guitar. Well, recently I've been starting with drums more. Like the rhythm is what really, really inspires my writing. And yeah, I'll start with drums. I'll like record my own drums or just have a loop or something like that, and then I'll put some guitars on it, and then I keep in my notes app. I have just a bunch of random lines that I think of one-liners that are like I think strong ideas or just thoughts I want to explore. And then when I'm writing out lyrics, I'm asking myself like, all right, why do I feel this way? When do I feel this way? How often do I feel this way? Does someone make me feel this way? Do I make myself feel this way? And I'm like asking questions, and I'm like answering the questions in the song a lot of times. And then on top of like trying to build a story line a little bit more, I've been trying to do that more and more storytelling in my songs. I think those are types of songs like really, really stick with people. There's
You
a
like
song.
to put things in between the lines, like to people to like kind of like figure it out. What is the song? Do you hide the meaning of it in between, or you just playing straight up out there?
I think if people are gonna gain their own meaning from whether it's like implicit or not, people are just gonna apply their own meaning to songs. And when I'm writing, I feel like I'm pretty literal with a lot of lyrics. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's its question.
No, that's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
most people try to be like, because I know a lot of musicians.
Yeah.
I already invited a few, and then the ones that we met in the band, in the concerts.
Yeah.
And
I would say I'm not a nuanced person. Like, what you see is kind of what you get, and like
that's pretty cool.
people, I don't know. I struggle with this a lot, where like people, I feel like people assume a lot about me before
You
even
get
meeting me,
what you see.
or like a certain response like means something, and I'm just like, no, that's just like
That's
I'm
what I
just here,
said.
you know. So
it is.
Yeah.
It is red. That's what I was saying. It's red. Yeah. No. It's like you don't try to put so much into it. You just what you say it is.
I try to be. I think just being authentic to yourself is the best practice.
We need more
whether,
of that, man.
whether you're just like having a conversation or whatever, or making music or whatever it is. I think just I've been trying to pay attention to my body more whenever I have like a feeling in my stomach. I feel it like right here where I'm just like, I want to say this thing, or like, oh, I feel this thing, and I'm like, all right, I need to get this out, because like my bandmate makes fun of me for this all the time, but my whole life is like, oh, I should have said, or like, oh, I should have did this, and like
Hey,
oftentimes when I have that feeling, it's just like I had that gut feeling,
but you're
and I
listening
ignored
to
it.
yourself now, and you're like, I want to say it. Like.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of feeling like gut feelings, and you're like, oh shit, I
Yeah.
should do this move like this, or
Yeah, and engineering has taught me to do that a lot more. I hear a weird sound, and I'm like, yeah, I could like ignore it and be like, oh, it'll be fine. But then I'm like, I have that gut feeling. I'm like, nope, check it, make sure it's good, confirm it. Yes, no, all right, cool, we're good. And I try to like move the same way just in life in general. I mean, engineering, it sort of forces you to be that way.
right? Yeah, that's true. I mean,
yeah, so
you got to go back and like, this humming right there. Let me go back and
yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you this, like, I've personal experience listening to a lot of people. What makes them make music and what makes them do all these things. Because, like, I tell all the time, people, you hear a song, but you don't know all the process and work that goes behind the song.
Yeah.
All the hours of going back, releasing it. Let me put it in my car. I'll drive, and you're like, shit, it sounded so good in the fucking headphones, but I'm gonna go back and fix these or the other or the other. it takes you living your life in there. You know, your
Yeah.
life is there, and so you're expressing everything that you are in a sense of 3 minutes and a half
Yeah.
for a song. So you know, like what you say, being honest about it and just putting it right there, it makes the whole difference of who
Yeah.
you are in the essence of your music. And I'm pretty sure when people see you this Friday the 14th
Yes.
in that stage, I'm pretty sure
Friday
you're
the
gonna leave it.
14th. March 14th.
Don't
baby.
forget, don't forget.
Don't forget.
I think it's gonna be an experience for a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
You know, that be able to connect to that, you know, that you feel, and a lot of people will, you know, somehow find the lyric of "I hate New York" when they have a broken heart and be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck that bitch." But,
No,
or maybe not.
no. We wish them well. We wish them
I
well.
know, no, you know, I'm horrible about that. When I had breakups, fuck them. I never talk to them again. I don't even want to know if they live or not.
Yeah, I could never date another songwriter.
I love you,
'cause
baby. You know, I never think about my exes. Never.
I that also makes one of those. No, but when I forgot what I was gonna say. Whatever.
Well, it was good. It was about exes, but you know, it's about the show. No, so you guys perform, and we're gonna put out those songs.
Okay.
So please do check out the podcast because you know we started this podcast last year. I started this podcast with the solely purpose of showcase local artists. There is a lot of YouTube places where they do it,
Yeah.
but you have to have like 100,000 followers and
Yeah.
go there. So I have a space that I invite bands just
Yeah.
to come and play and have a good time with everybody.
Yeah.
And people has noticed some bands that they didn't exist. You know what? Everybody knows these bands, but when you see them on YouTube, somehow you get a little. But mostly that we have great local artists,
Yeah.
and like I like that if I help somebody showcase, and I like to see them perform and talk to them, know what they do, why they make all these things.
Yeah.
People subscribe little by little and start listening so they can get out there and help somehow. So,
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like, especially like having shows with shows, like that's the only time you really get to connect with like people that are listening to your music. And it's like not like, oh, sick, like I'm famous. It's more like, oh, we love the same thing and we can connect on this thing. Like that's like more than anything like what being in a band feels like for me.
right. And it is so true, man. Like,
Yeah, and with social media, a lot of it, it's basically it's just a highway of ads and people showing themselves, which it's good and bad. Your relationship, everyone's relationship to it is different, but it doesn't feel as communal anymore. I feel like you used to have like these little pockets of like the internet, so like things like this where it's like very specific to community, I think is really important. And same thing with shows, man. So I hope people will listen to the episode. And
we're looking forward,
plug
man,
in.
to see you playing. And thank you so much for coming. Appreciate all your insight on music, and I am sure that people is gonna love your performance because
thank you.
it was pretty fucking fire. And don't forget to go March 14th, Friday, Amos South End. Buy your tickets.
Buy a ticket early. Tickets are going.
What's your
yes.
handle on Instagram so they can actually follow it too?
You can find me at middle name TJ, all one word.
Anywhere else with any other platform that you have your
TE apostrophe JANI on all platforms. So yeah.
and his music is on Apple Music and Spotify as well. So please
Anywhere you can find music.
check it out.
Except a record shop, but we're working on that. We're working on that. So
Do you have any merch or anything like that?
huh? Oh yeah. We do have merch. Yep, it'll be available at the show. You can also go on my website, tejani.io. And yeah. Also I wanted to plug the Life of the Party is coming soon.
Yeah, that's the reason why we have you here.
Yeah.
The main important thing.
I keep forgetting. Yeah, I Hate New York, Dark Slide, Let Me Bum a Cigarette. All my last 3 singles have been super fun to put out. Putting out Medicine soon. I think we're gonna put out Medicine, and then we're gonna drop the album.
So this is your first EP, or is it an EP? Or
Yeah, it's
LP?
just an EP.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're having a release party, so you're releasing it on March 14th.
Dude, I am so bad at plans, dude. We'll see.
Well, life
So,
of the
yeah.
party. Check it out. Wait for it. Listen to it. Buy it if you can buy it on Bandcamp or
Yes.
whatever. Support your local artists because it's important. Go to the show. And any other shows besides this one coming up?
Not right now, no.
Well, there you go. You got
Yeah.
about 15 days to buy the fucking ticket.
Yep.
Don't miss it. We'll be there.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And everybody for waiting. It's awesome. Appreciate it.